Hey everyone, Tin Man here, back with today's daily jail update, and this is actually take two, as I had given a little bit of a jail update, and then they dropped the actual patch, which refreshed the jail again with new rules for the jail. So if you watched that one, I apologize, that is now out of date, and I have taken that video down. And this video is actually the jail for today. So the new jail algorithm that I discussed in the patch update video essentially changed the jail rather dramatically. Now, instead of just having 8 units, that you can only have 1 unit of any given alliance banned on a certain day, you now can have between 8 and 12 units banned, so we've got 9 today. And then you can have up to 3 units of a given alliance all taken out, and we actually see that here today. We see 3 healers removed, and we see 3 heartless removed. And this is definitely a better system, I believe, a little bit more of a random system, as opposed to before where certain alliances would get hit really hard, and I discussed that much more at length in some other videos, so please check those out if you are curious. But in terms of today's jail, obviously, healers are off the table. You have 3 healers out. You cannot possibly even complete the healer alliance, as you can see by that marked out. So don't even think about trying to play healers today. That being said, individual healers who are still left, like Enchantress and Mr. Warlock, are still reasonable, but you are missing Dazzle, Necros, and Omni Knight. And that's a big hit to anything that would possibly want healers, such as a Knight's build is often a common combination, so those are off the table here. Also, we see a good number of Heartless out. Now, getting up to 6 Heartless was pretty unusual and pretty rare, but the fact that 3 of them are removed means even getting up to 4 Heartless means you need exactly all 4 who are remaining, which would be Abaddon, Lich, Shadow Demon, and a Lifestealer. And so that's going to put a big damper on anybody who wants to deal lots of physical damage and then wanting to get up to 4 Heartless to do so. I know I've done 4 Heartless a lot in Brute builds, especially with Lifestealer along with Shadow Demon, and then you generally try to fit in either Necrophos, Drow Ranger, Abaddon, Pudge, some combination of there. But because it's going to be so incredibly difficult to get up to 4 Heartless today, I would recommend avoiding Heartless as a general matter. I just don't think it's really worth it while to go for it. If you're playing Brutes, maybe you do play the Lifestealer and then you throw in like a Shadow Demon in the early game, but I wouldn't be too stuck with it throughout the entire game. We also see Razor is now missing, and Razor is a big loss in mages now that he's been recently buffed. But on the other hand, we do see Morphling has been added in to the mages pool. So really, you can complete 6 mages much more easily, even though you're missing Razor. You don't need that Lich anymore. And Morphling still always provides that good magic damage bonus, but now that he's actually a mage, it is really a good buff to the mage composition as a whole. So I would definitely still want to try out mages today, even with Razor missing, because it's much easier to get up to 6 of them. That being said, Primordials are going to be a little bit more of a struggle without the Razor, but you can still certainly make it work if you get all 6 of the other Primordials. We see Techies is out, and that is going to put a big damper on any kind of Scrappy or Inventor build, or at least the late game situation. You can still run them in the early game. Things like Clockwork, Timbersaw, and Tinker are still pretty solid early on, but they don't transition quite as well into the late game because you can't get that Ace of Inventor bonus active. We also see Lycan is banned today, and under the previous jail system, Lycan was the least banned unit of any unit just because he was so hard to hit because he had all of these really common alliances. That being said, we shouldn't really expect Hunters to be too terribly hit. I know that Weaver was also removed from the Hunter Alliance, and also Drow Ranger is removed. So I guess with these two together, Hunters are pretty hard hit. In order to get up to 6 Hunters, you need exactly all 6 of the remaining ones. But more often than not, I've been seeing Hunters being run as kind of a 3 of alliance. You run like Sniper plus Mirana plus Medusa or something like that as you scale into the late game, and a little bit less on like a 6 Hunter build. Those have kind of fallen out of favor. So still stick with maybe 3 Hunters if you can get that. But I would try to avoid 6 Hunters today because you need exactly all 6, and that's relying on getting a relatively rare Ace unit. And of course, Lone Druid is out, and Lone Druid and Lycan together being out means that mid to late game Savages are definitely a little bit less viable. So on the flip side, things like Assassins are still very, very prevalent. Mages I still think are a good option today, as well as some Warrior compositions, as long as you're not relying too heavily on the Heartless bonus. You can still run Warriors with a lot of different other combinations, and possibly even Brutes, although Brutes are often paired with Heartless, so that gets a little bit further down on the priority list. There's been so many changes with Underlords today, I can't really tell you for sure what the meta is going to shake out like because of the changes to the Underlords themselves, the new jail system, and individual balance changes to units. But I'm really excited to hop into it and explore this new meta. So good luck in your games today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow.